had sweet tea. Are you like you have to have straight from the south, like give you diabetes in the cup kind of sweet tea person, or is
Oh,
it just
I
like
would
I like it a little
love to
bit
have
sweet?
that, but I know it's bad for me. I'd rather go with like a right in the middle sweet tea. Like I
Mm-hmm.
normally do the half and half. Like if I'm going to McDonald's or something, I'm like, give me half sweet and half unsweet.
Yeah.
So I can try and tame myself because I love the sugary coffee drinks so much. And like
There
if
you
you
go.
love those, you have to cut sugar out somewhere else. Get something that's only mildly sweet.
There's a restaurant near where I live. It was one of the first places I ate at when I came to
Uh-huh.
Richmond for school.
Mm-hmm.
Someone showed it to us, and we went there. And I remember the first meal that I had there was really bad. It was stupid. It's a Chinese restaurant, but they have like burgers and pizza and chicken wings and stuff like that. So they have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But their main thing is Chinese food,
Mm-hmm.
and they make their own sweet tea, and like they actually make it, like they brew it, they leave it out in the sun for it to do all of its stuff, and it is the sweetest thing in the world. It
Ah.
is just pure sugar, and I love it. It is amazing. It's so good,
Mm-hmm.
and I am still very pink because of this stupid light.
No, I think you look perfect. You're much more blue than pink.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah, it's because of the shirt and the blue light behind me. But let's see what let's mess with my lights here. If I just what if I turn this one on? What does it look like? That's a little too dark. I want it on, but I want it not white. Bad, just too much still.
Thrilling audio content.
I know. Audio podcasters love us.
Slightly more exciting
There we go.
video
That's
content.
better. I look more normal now. I don't look like Majin Buu
Yeah.
anymore. Sweet. Um, my name is Kyle Springer. You're
My
Melissa
name is
Wilkinson.
Melissa Wilkinson. Yep.
Yeah, this is episode 44 of the Captain's Log. We are doing it. We're doing things.
Who did we?
Uh, this is going to be a little bit shorter of an episode this week. We missed our normal recording time because I was not feeling well on Friday. We are recording Sunday afternoon. It is a bright, sunshiny day.
Yeah.
I think it's almost 70 out, which is fantastic.
Yes.
I cannot wait for it to be like consistently that. Like we're like
Hmm.
it's now not getting below 50, but like at the except for at night, but like most of the days it's like low 60s around there ish. But today is an especially warm one, and I am thankful for it.
Hmm.
I like it a lot.
I want it to be really spring
Yeah,
sometime soon. It's
it
still
needs to
chilly
be.
here.
Well, you guys
Like,
got snow like a couple weeks ago, right?
I think so.
Something
Yeah,
like
we had a
that.
very, very snowy winter here in St. Louis, and we're getting up into the 60s, but there are still most mornings when I leave, and it's like 35 degrees. I'm tired of it.
I have a friend in Oklahoma, and she sent me a photo, or I guess a short video. She left work and she walked outside, and there was just this like intense tower of clouds, and it was lightning and all that stuff. I was like,
Oh,
holy shit, that's something you see in
yes.
like the end of the world, like apocalyptic movie. She goes, yeah, that's
That's
like what we see all of the time here.
that's what I miss. I need those big Midwestern summer thunderstorms back. They're
Hmm.
incredible. Like there's there'll be very dense patches of clouds and then little bits of the sky poking through, and if they happen during the day it'll be like dark gray clouds instead of like blue sky and little sunbeams, and when it gets to sunset like the entire sky lights up like orange and red, and
That's
oh,
awesome.
they are magical. It makes me feel like there are wizards about, and if I try hard
There are
enough I
wizards.
could harness some of that power too. Yeah, like winter's just winter around here, but like late spring into summer in the Midwest, we're at our most powerful.
Yeah, here you go. If there's any cities in in the United States that would produce wizards. I feel like the ones from the Midwest would be the weather ones,
For
or or,
sure.
or like the like ones that focus on like wind and stuff like that. Because like where I'm from, we have a good mix of everything, which I
Hmm.
also feel like would be good because they can do the heat, they
Yeah.
can do the well, all around wizards. Where do you think wizards would come from if
Uh,
they were like a real like I'm speaking as if they aren't human. Where would they come from if they actually existed?
no, I
Um,
think they would. There would definitely be Missouri Wizards
because
because we're big enough that you could foster a local community of wizards here in the metropolis of St. Louis. But also, if you want to go out to like the farm country, you've got all that room to practice, and there's nobody around to watch you. There's nobody
yeah,
around to get affected. You've got open miles to just wreck things with your powers.
yeah, because growing up in Northern Virginia, we would go into DC a lot.
Whoa.
Like reference to the Wizard of Oz there, and it made papers and stuff like that, and there's always the Wizard of Oz building. So like I also think there's like there's wizards there,
Yeah, yeah.
like that,
I've
some
I've
spot like that, some industrial wizard complex.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. I'm thinking about like rural and suburban wizards. Like in my neighborhood, like the neighborhood where my parents live, there's so many lawns that have little color changing like lawn decoration lights. It's just like
like
a light bulb
Christmas
inside.
lights.
No, it'll be like a light bulb inside like a wire pick, and you like jam it into your garden, and it's just
Okay, yeah,
little
yeah,
lights that pop up,
yeah.
just light up your garden. There's so many color changing ones specifically throughout our neighborhood, and that feels magic. That feels
Yeah.
like if I like they'd switch colors in very specific patterns, and it's all like the messages that witches are sending to each other.
Like which Morse code?
Hmm. Hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, if you go to
Speaking
the
of,
local like
go ahead.
No, I just had one more dumb joke. Like you go to the local produce stand and you get like, basil leaves and you get your potatoes and you get fresh corn and apples. And then
Yeah,
if you like knock on the wooden door like in a specific pattern, then you get back there and you get your eye of newt and all of your real witchy stuff for making potions.
there you go. Um, I was gonna say, speaking of Washington D.C., I've been
Uh-huh.
playing a video game called The Division 2.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and I never played the first one, but it's really surreal to me because it takes place in Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Again, which I grew up like outside of. Um, and so they have a huge map. You can run around DC. The base of operations in the game is the White House, so you can like go in and out
Oh.
of the White House and stuff. It takes place in a post-pandemic. Is it pandemic or epidemic for
Oh, I don't know the difference between
disease?
those two
I
words.
actually don't know. We should look that up.
Yeah.
Um, but so it takes place in like a post-pandemic where I'm gonna stick with that one. Some guy
Mm-hmm.
created a version of smallpox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
Um, and so they were like, like our economy is real fragile. Our, who knows? But the game is based off that idea. This is the second one. I never played the first one, but it takes place in DC, so I was like, why not? I'll give it a shot. But it's really surreal to me because I've been there and I've been inside some of the buildings that you can go in and be like, this is our metro. This looks exactly like our metro. This is the Air and Space Museum. I've been here multiple times. Like, this is ridiculous. And it's just like, it's so strange.
That is eerie. Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Air and Space Museum, my friend and I are endeavoring to rewatch all the Night at the Museum films. I think you asked me recently, like, is there anything you're watching? And I'm like, I don't have a cool answer. We decided to rewatch Night at the Museum, the entire franchise.
That's something to talk about. That's something to talk about.
They're fun. We remembered them being fun. We never saw all of them, and then we're like, why not? Let's see how that whole thing wrapped up.
Of them, I have a weird memory. I think one of my friend's cousins was an extra in one of those.
Ooh.
Or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Or it
That's
was my
exciting.
friend's younger sister or something like that. Who knows? I don't remember, and I didn't really care. So there you go.
They are among your like family-friendly adventure comedy among like that genre of movies. They're pretty high up there. They're a good time.
Speaking of like things coming to life, do you remember Indian in the Cupboard?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that film?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I used to love that film. And I for the life of me cannot remember what that movie is about, except that I had the VHS and it was like, you know how they sometimes do like special editions of DVDs or like steel book cases and like you can get the steel book for $40 extra and it comes with, something. I had one kind of like that. It was a special VHS case that was supposed to like mimic the cupboard, or that was the idea that it was supposed to be. So it had like on the side where you open it up, it had like a fake insert for a keyhole. You could, like, stick it in, except there was no actual key. There was just like a space for the key to supposedly fit in.
Yep.
And that's all I remember of that film. Like I couldn't tell you anything else about the film.
No, I think I tried watching it and it bummed me right out because the little kid's just by himself the whole time until he brings these toys to life. I don't know. There was something melancholy about it that I didn't like.
Strange.
I
have no idea why I liked that film.
There are movies that I loved when I was a kid, and I go back and I'm like, why? Why though? Like when I was a kid, I think we've talked about this. I loved the American Godzilla movie.
I had Band-Aids I had Godzilla Band-Aids.
That sounds fun. That appeals to a child. I loved the American Godzilla movie. I watched it a bunch, and I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I still have all this fondness for it baked into me from nostalgia, but I'm also like, there is nothing in this movie that would appeal to an 8-year-old girl. Why did I like this? What was here for me?
Who knows? Yeah, that's just one of those weird things. I'm like trying to connect weird dots here. I got really disappointed by a product that I bought recently. I guess you being like, it has a weird melancholy to it, was like disappointment. I know what that feels like. Transition.
Did you get a sad product?
So I bought a toothbrush recently for the first time. No, I'm kidding.
I just been using a stick.
Yeah, just been using my finger. I Girl, do you remember Sonic Hair? Is that one you have, or I don't know if you
Uh,
ever had.
I
I don't
never
know.
I never had the electric toothbrushes.
Okay, you just had the
I was
regular
aware that they existed, but no,
regular ones.
I
My
had to use them
mom
anyway.
like hopped on the Sonic Hair hype train when it first came out, like back in the early 2000s. And I remember that
Mhm.
thing was like super expensive. It was like $150, and the toothbrush heads were like $50 each, or some some crazy thing like that. But it was an electric toothbrush that used like sonic pulses and all of this stuff, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what I had growing up.
Mhm.
Even when I went off to college, my mom had like updated her Sonic Care, so I got the old one. So I just had that one.
Mhm.
And then it eventually just it got really gross and disgusting. So I was like, I need to get myself a new toothbrush, and I got a couple of the regular ones. But everything is a subscription service nowadays. So I
Oh,
got one
you've
of
got a
those
Quip?
quips. Yeah,
I've heard good things about the Quip.
I like it a lot, actually, but I was very disappointed in something about it. And not disappointed in like, oh, it's actually not that great of a thing.
Mhm.
It still works
Mhm.
exactly like it's supposed to. It has a really cool design. It
Uh-huh.
almost looks like a vibrator,
Okay.
but it like it's really funny too because some of their ad copy makes it sound like that's what it is too. It's fantastic. But so it's an electric toothbrush that you buy, and then it's a subscription service in that every so often they will send you a replacement head, and they you also can get toothpaste and stuff like that. And the one of the things that like was really cool to me at first is when I got it, there's no charger. You don't
Uh-huh.
charge this thing. And so I was like, huh, that's strange. So the replacement head must be the like recharge thing. Must also be the battery. It
Huh.
must all be one piece. That's not the case. When I got the replacement head, I opened it all up, and it had the replacement head, but then it also came with a AAA battery. I was just like, ah, oh, I'm so
Right?
disappointed. I wanted this to just be two pieces, and or yeah, just like the actual thing, just to be two pieces, and I just replace the head, and that is the thing. That's
Mhm.
the like. That's also the battery, the recharge, and I was just like, ah, the magic is gone.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
just like why does anything besides a remote still need a battery?
why do remotes need batteries? Why do we still have remotes? Why
Mhm.
isn't this a thing? I mean, I guess a lot of TVs are the smart TVs now that you can just be like, Alexa, do this. Hey, Google, do that.
I
And it
don't like
works.
to talk to my TV and command it to do things. I wouldn't like
I
that idea.
I kind of do. Makes me feel strong.
I
TV,
I
do this.
no,
Haha.
I think I need to earn it. I don't want to just pay for it and have that power given to me. I need to earn it.
I need to master the TVs.
I it feels like inappropriately powerful for me to be able to do without like passing some sort of test
Mhm.
or like receiving some sort of a credential. I don't even really talk to my phone. Like that's not
I
the kind
don't
of relationship we
I
have.
don't use Siri. Like that's I have an iPhone. I don't
Mhm.
think I've ever used Siri except to like mess around with it. But
Mhm.
even then, it lasted like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have an Alexa in my room. I don't really have anything other than lights to do
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Um, but I want to upgrade my TV. I want to get a smart one that works with it, so I can just be like, "Hey, open Netflix," and it
Mhm.
opens Netflix, or um, like all of the next gen video game consoles are about to come out, and I want it to work with that stuff. I'm hoping it works with that stuff. So just be like, turn on my PlayStation 5.
I would
Like,
love to control a video game with my voice, though. I'm not good at video games because I just can't keep that much
have you
maneuvering.
heard of Skyrim?
I can talk to Skyrim?
You can talk to Alexa because it has Skyrim on it, and it's a choose your own. It's like a choose your own adventure. It'll be like, you are in a field. Which way do you want to go? To the left or the right? And
that
it's
sounds
like,
fun.
To the left. Okay. You move to the left and you see a giant spider. Do you want to attack, use magic, or run away? What spell do you want to use?
Yes.
You know?
That I like, because every time I've tried to play like a video game, like something more complex than Mario Party, like I'm just fiddling with these buttons and I can't figure them out. And like I'll try and turn left and somehow I'm going right. And I'm just like, I want to do this. How do I do this? Like I don't have the hand-eye coordination. I don't have whatever it takes to remember what a button does. That's like one skill my brain just pushed out of it entirely.
Takes practice.
Oh, it's not worth it for me. I would like to just talk, like, please move my Halo man to the left, and I want to hide from the bug.
Speaking of Halo, that was back in the day, that was, I think, the first twins. It's what's called no, it's not a twin stick shooter. That's something else. But it was the first one. It was the first game that I ever played that was you control the character with one and the camera with one.
I don't like that. I can't focus on that much at once.
And I hated Halo when it originally came out because like, this is stupid. You can't even control it. It's terrible. And then eventually I don't know if it was just like I hit puberty and it like clicked with me and I was like, oh, I understand how this works now. And just like once it did, it was like, okay, this game is actually really good. So yeah, I take all that back that I just said. You know? But yeah, it takes a bit of practice is all it is. Let me see. I'm trying to let me open up studio mode here real quick and see if everything is doing things like I want it to. I was going to open up the Dr. Google's. Oops, not Goofles. Google's. And I wanted to see if, let's see, which one is.
Oh, epidemic and pandemic. Yeah, that's important. I did not realize before today. Oh, right. I've just been using those interchangeably and they must not be interchangeable. Oh, okay. Oh, it's got pan in it. That makes sense. And an epidemic must be much more like hyper focused. It has a definite epicenter to it. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. This makes sense. I'm glad we learned. Way
That's that.
to go. That's satisfying knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a disappointing also product encounter.
Oh man.
While we are speaking of these.
I want to hear about that.
I know,
disappointment is like
I'm not
like it's a terrible thing to actually have happen, but it often makes for like good stories or like just like I can rage out about something, and then you feel
Yeah, I'm not
vindicated,
often disappointed by much. I'm going to be a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding coming up soon, very
Mhm.
soon, because she added me late. And yesterday I went to her bridal shower, and then it wrapped up in the early afternoon. I'm like, oh, I have time to go out and get some shopping done. I'd already ordered
Sure.
my dress, but I need the shoes. It's like the next big ingredient. And I was out by this outdoor outlet mall, like high end outlets, like the Saks Fifth Avenue outlet.
Okay.
So it feels fancy, but also I knew I could get something for decently cheap out there. And I'd never been. And I love malls. I love the outdoors. I
Sure.
love exploring. I took a windy route that took me through some choice suburbs to get out there. Good suburbs to go explore later.
More sex cults to find.
That's just the one town. I think everything else is just innocuous and pretty. Like I like it. I went to this is a bigger mall. I went to every shoe store there. I could not find any pair of shoes I remotely liked,
That sucks.
which has been something that has been happening to me my entire life. I am not a shoe person. I think I own like the bare minimum amount of like lady shoes. I'm not one of those ladies with the big closets. I think I own 6 pairs of shoes. And I
Pardon
own
me.
shoe
I have 3, and I don't even wear one of them.
I like to have choices, but I don't. No, I don't like all. I'm not a heels person. I can't wear heels or wedges or anything like that. My feet are weird shaped. So most shoes, if I found them and I did like them, I probably couldn't fit into them. The shoes I
Mhm.
do fit into, I don't like. But I'm like, well, go out there and try it. And I went into, I don't know, 10 shoe stores and I didn't find a dang thing. So today I'm
Disappointment.
like, okay, I'll just order them online because I always preferred buying things in person and like trying it on.
Certain things are better.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Like that. Yeah.
So I had
What
to just
else?
turn to the internet again. The dress I ordered, I also wanted to try on in the store, and they're like, "Oh, it's so new, we don't have it in stock yet. You have to order it." I'm like, "No, let me do this now with my physical body here in a physical location I drove to." The whole theme of this is that I don't like people making me take shortcuts. I'm like, no, I will drive to the mall. I will get the thing off the rack. I will try it on myself. I will click all the buttons on my remote to get my TV to play the thing. Don't make the internet do my work for me.
There you go. I like there's a certain level of stuff because like I don't like the idea of things listening in on my conversations
Mhm.
and stuff like that, but at the same time, like I don't really have anything to hide. I know
Yeah.
my phone is already listening to me. My computer probably is. A lot of TVs already do. Like speaking of Google and video games and all that stuff, they just announced their video game streaming platform. It's not really a console, but
Huh.
it's their whole thing is the future of video games is not a box. Um, and it's the idea that you can play all the current video games at 4K 60 frames a second in an instant just by streaming it and
Oh.
stuff like that. Who knows? I doubt America has the infrastructure to do all of that,
Hmm.
but I totally forgot where I was going with this.
Oh, we just don't want computers to do our work for us.
And then, but why did I bring up Google? What the fuck is wrong with me today?
I think we all just need to like lay down and have a nap.
So, Sundays are good days for naps, but I had a point to
Uh,
like I wasn't
it
actually
was about like
going to talk
being
about the video game side of it,
being
but it was
monitored or being
oh,
watched or listened into.
thank you.
Yes.
That reminded me exactly. So their controller that they have.
Mhm.
It's like there's certain devices you can play on any device that has Google Chrome. So a
Mhm.
PC, a Mac, a laptop,
Okay.
a tablet, a phone, stuff like that. Um, but they also have a controller to use in with your TV. It can link up to Chromecast.
Mhm.
Is the thing. And on the controller, there's a Google Assistant
Yeah.
button that if you hit the button, you can just be like, "Hey, I'm stuck on this level." Uh,
Mm,
and then it somehow in the back end it will like look at the game you're playing,
wow.
screenshots of the part that you're playing, and then it'll look into YouTube to
Whoa.
like find all this. It's amazing stuff, but it's one of those things like, is this thing, there's a microphone built into this thing. Is it listening to me? Is it doing all of this stuff? And some people were all just like, how do I disable this? And,
Mhm.
stuff like that. But it's one of those things like at this point, you probably have 5 or 6 devices in your home that's already listening or collecting some kind of data on you and stuff
I
like
think my
that.
relationship with technology is that it is already the master. It can know anything about me at once, but I don't feel right asking it to help me. Like, no,
Here's
no.
my
I
browser history.
I
Here's all
give
the porn
myself to
searches.
you.
Here's all the here's my credit card
Mhm.
numbers. All that stuff.
I am a guest in the technology's home. I do what it tells me.
Exactly.
Would you
Um,
live in a smart home as seen in the Disney Channel original movie Smart Home,
we're kind of already there.
Smart House?
Like I have the light bulbs. I want the TV. Eventually, I want to invest in the like thermostat thing. I
That
don't
does
need
sound
it now,
nice.
especially when I have roommates. And we're all doing it. But just to have one where I can be like, turn it up to 90. When I'm like on the opposite side of the country to just
My
like fuck with them.
I had a boyfriend who came from Alaska. He moved
Uh-huh.
here for a job and his family was still up there. And his house was one his dad had built himself, and his dad was a big tech head. So we programmed this to be as smart of a house as it could be.
Yeah.
And like lights and temperature and locks and cameras and everything they could control from a phone they could. And so my boyfriend still had everything on his phone even after he moved,
He would
to the
like
other side of the
change
country,
things
to
and
the
mess with
other
it.
side of North America. So sometimes he's like, my parents are in he'd like look at his phone, like, oh, my parents would be in the middle of dinner right now. I'm just gonna turn all the lights off for him. Like, just bring him with him from
To be sitting
several
there.
time zones
So
away.
Jan, how is your God damn it, Jeff? Fuck.
Yeah, yeah, that was the intention. I
That's funny.
I want exactly what the movie Smart House presents to me, which is one big video wall that can show me anything.
I want that.
I
Because
take like theme park ride through videos, just like one whole wall of Space Mountain, please.
so I have a green screen that I can put behind me and put
You could
things,
be in Space
back there. I could be in Space Mountain. I could be in a movie still of Smart Home, the Disney Channel original
It
film,
is Smart
right now.
House. I got it
Smart
wrong
House.
already.
But yeah, like the idea, because I bought it back when Paul was still here with the
Yeah.
Whatnauts, and the idea was we were both gonna get them and put ourselves on a background of our making, so it looks a little bit not some like we're in the Bahamas, but like just something that's not like super cheesy. Just
Here
like,
we
hey,
are
here's
in
some
Delaware.
graphic that I designed in the background, but then here's us. And it's meant to be like, oh, we're kind of in the same room.
Hmm.
You might not be able to
Yeah.
tell exactly, but he never got one. It never really worked. I didn't really need it. But I've always liked the idea of having some kind of screen behind me or stuff like that. Like I have these bookshelves and stuff like that, but I actually don't like those shelves. I want to take them down and do something else with them there.
Mhm.
But it kind of funny has a wall behind them that is a giant LCD screen, and
Mhm.
it's all because you'll see things like in the background moving behind them and stuff like that. And I love the idea. It's so fantastic, but it's also not the green screen because
Mhm.
if you do that, if you move fast enough, it can't really tell, like what's green and what is, it's not good enough quality is
Mhm.
is the thing, unless you're like a movie studio and stuff like that. But they have an actual screen so they can put videos up behind them, web
Mhm.
pages, and it all looks fantastic. Oh,
If
that's
I
the
had one of
dream.
those, I'd s- I'd throw so many parties where the whole point would be to just play that one game from Whose Line Is It Anyway, where Colin is the
Yes.
field reporter in front of the green screen and he has to figure out what setting they've put him in.
Yes. If you bought one, we could maybe do that because you usually don't watch the streams. And so
Oh
if
my
you
god.
like set up a green screen behind you, I could put an image behind you and be like, and do
Where in the
something
world
like
am I now?
that. Yeah, where in the world is Melissa? That would be fantastic.
I
Who
like
is
this.
who is your favorite from whose line is it anyway?
Oh
I
gosh.
actually don't remember their names. I
You
shouldn't have asked
really
this.
you
I'm
really
panicking on
can't
the inside.
separate Colin and Ryan as a team. They're
Yeah, they're too good. Ryan was the tall one, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Colin was the Canadian one.
Yeah. I think Colin was one of my favorites.
Colin's great. I've gotten to see Colin live. My brother and I went to because we were raised on this show. We loved this. No, we saw him, and there was an occasional guest star on that show, Brad Sherwood. We saw a Colin and Brad improv show in a
Huh.
local theater, and it's
Cool.
in this one of the big theaters on like a local college campus. And we did like found out about this late. Yeah, it was just the two of them, just the two of them doing like two-man improv scenes.
Oh wow.
It's really fun. And we decided this, like we found out about it late. It was a spur of the moment decision, like, yeah, let's go see them. And we had seats in literally the back row of this giant theater. We're so high up there.
In
Like
the
our backs are
nosebleeds.
against the wall. Like, well, I've never seen improv from a bird's eye view before, but
What was that like?
even from all the way up there, it was still so much fun.
Yeah. Did you get
Yeah.
did you guys have the binoculars or stuff to like see what are they doing
Um
down there?
I think it wasn't so big that we needed binoculars, but I do have binoculars specifically for large theater events, Kyle.
Are they the opera ones that are like on
Oh,
the stick and like
no. This is something else. I wanted opera glasses, but I've only ever seen them like in movies. I'd never seen a pair in real life. And I'm like, well, if I want to buy opera glasses, I want to try them out in real life. There is no store that sells them around here. I would always have to order them online. I'm like, well, instead, I went to Cabela's and just bought a little pair of binoculars that are mine specifically for going to the Muni Theater here in St. Louis, which is this big outdoor amphitheater that does like Broadway musicals every summer. Yeah, I wanted opera glasses. I'm like, it's so. Mhm. Yes. Oh, oh yes. Oh, those top ones have a gold chain. Man.
so there you go. You
Oh,
can get opera glasses online for like $20.
I wanted to hold them in my hand before I bought them, and I couldn't do it. So I got little binoculars like the ones you see here. Because when I used to go to this theater, I would borrow my dad's giant outdoorsman pair of binoculars, and they're so heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need these. I'm buying my own small personal binoculars that I bring out only for theater events, never for real outdoors
Good
things.
stuff. Good stuff. Um, I so you went to go see Colin live then? What?
I did.
How long ago was that?
Oh, this was just a couple years ago. Like maybe, I don't know, like a 2014, 2015.
Did they have like the like an opening band, like an opening like sketch
No,
group, or was it
it
just
was
them?
just Colin and Brad.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
I've
really
I've
only stand up that includes an opener. I've never seen an opener for an improv show before.
I mean, my reference for most like live events are like music acts, you know.
Hmm.
So they have the opening band and stuff like that. But I've gone to a live improv comedy show once, and was a local one, and it
Oh,
was kind of an impromptu thing. One of my roommates was kind of I don't know if he's gone recently, but he had like a just like a random week where he, or not a week, but like a couple months where he was just like, I'm just gonna go see comedy shows.
that's
Um,
good.
so I went to my first one, and it was a lot of fun.
I used to go to a lot of live improv around St. Louis,
Yeah.
where we have a growing performing arts scene here. It's pretty fun.
There was one moment, and I think I've told the story on the podcast before, but there was a moment on there where I was absolutely like it was my first time, and I didn't want to be that guy.
Hmm.
Where they're like you're making jokes to be like, you should have said this thing. Like
No,
I
do not be that
don't
guy.
ever be that guy. But yeah, they missed a joke, and I was just like, how do you miss that one? And I was just like, I can't say it, can't say it, can't say it. No, don't do it. Nope.
That's for their coach to tell them.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, but that's the only one that I went to. I'm not a big like, let's go see stand up, let's go see comedy. I'm not. I don't watch all the
I
Netflix specials or anything
no, I'd love to
like
go
that.
out and see a live show of any kind. Normally not music though, because I just don't know what to do while I'm watching a lot of like music concerts. Like, oh, it's still you playing the guitar. You don't look different than you
It's still
did 10
you.
minutes ago. Like I do,
Disappointed.
like I don't really know, especially in very small venues. Like I don't know what to look at. Am I supposed to just look straight at you the whole time? Especially places that are
Make
small
eye
enough where like they
contact.
can see
Be
you
like,
back.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
play that
yeah,
guitar.
yeah. I don't know. Oh, I don't. I like some bigger concerts, but little ones. Like, oh, they always
I've
feel
only
awkward
ever
to
been
me.
to smaller shows, but they've always
Mm.
been like hardcore shows. So there's a mosh pit going on. I got I guess I didn't get, because I didn't do anything to make it happen. But there was one show that I went to that was a reunion show. Like the band that I was there to see was my friend's band, and it was a reunion show.
Hmm.
Um, they had a band. They released an album. You can listen to it on Spotify. Their band was Subcolor, and color is spelt the European way with the U. Subcolor, all one word. But
Hmm.
they put out an album, and they did all these shows, and then the lead singer, who's also the bassist, and the drummer who did all the screaming, uh, also they were both, actually I don't know if they still are, they went to the church that I went to, but just in a different like state, if that makes sense. They
Okay.
and they quit the band to go on like a year-long tour of the United States, like feeding the homeless and like helping out different churches and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but they did a reunion show, and I went to go see that. And one of the other bands playing there, I don't understand exactly what happened. Somehow the drummer got fucking pissed off at something, and at the end of the song, like midway in their set, he got up, slammed his sticks, and picked up his seat and tossed it in the audience and stormed off.
Why?
And the chair went like right at me and
Ooh.
my friend. But yeah, it was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Oof.
Um, but yeah, it was wild. But it was like smaller shows like that, like not big bands that you would know or
I'm going
anything
to
like that.
see.
Or that I knew who they were. I don't know who most of them were.
I'm going to see Hosier here in a couple months, and he definitely will not throw any furniture at anyone, so I should be safe. I'm also sitting way up in the balcony because tickets. I was on the website like even before tickets were supposed to go on sale in case the website opened up early. I was there as early as I possibly could be. It was a fight for me to get a seat even all the way back in the balcony.
There you go.
It was popular, but not that popular. So the fact that I have to sit all the way back there kind of makes me feel proud of him.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, hopefully down the road, maybe you can go to some more concerts and
Yeah. More theater.
more theater.
Yeah, I love the theater. I went to see a play my friend directed recently, which was a really neat experience. And
I
then
think you mentioned that. Was it like a month ago or something?
yeah, a couple of weeks ago, my friend directed August Osage County for a local theater.
No idea what that
Uh,
is because I don't know anything about the theater.
it's a drama. It's a really well-regarded drama. It was made into a movie a couple years ago. It had Meryl Streep and Benedict Cumberbatch in it. Others.
And others.
And others. I'm sure it's other very important people, like Julia Roberts might be in it, but for some reason I only remember those two. I've not seen the movie, but I went to see this play, and he did a great job, and it's an interesting play. It's like, oh, maybe I will watch that movie now. You made me want to watch the movie, and maybe that's the director's job. Who knows?
There you go. Good stuff. I say we wrap things up right there. A little bit shorter of an episode for you guys.
Oh, can I tell you one more thing about this play? This will be a good capper.
Absolutely not. I am shutting things down right now. Melissa, you're not on any more of the episodes. How dare you try and tell a story on a show where we can talk about whatever we want? How dare you?
I went to see this play on the third night it was open, and he was telling me that the night before, like 2 minutes before the second act was about to be over, 2 minutes before this big climactic act break, the fire alarm in the theater went off
No.
to evacuate. And like and then they were like cleared to go back into the building for the final 2 minutes of the scene. And then another 10-minute intermission because they needed the intermission to change the set around. And
That's
he found
awful.
out why there was a fire alarm. This was a theater that's part of a larger community center. And there were some like high school theater kids in one of the multi-purpose rooms in the theater that they had rented out. And they're theater kids, and they were playing around with a fog machine, and they didn't know how the fog machine worked.
Smokage. Ow, ow.
And they filled an entire wing of this community center with fog.
Plus 100 cool points if you get the reference that I just made.
Who do you take me for?
But yeah, a fire alarm, that sucks to have to do like the last 2 minutes
And it's
of
like
something and then be like, all right, well, we'll see you guys in 15 minutes.
yeah, and it's right before this like big climactic like tussle between a couple characters, and nope, okay, we have to reset this. We have to build the tension back up again because
I was
these
gonna say, did
teenagers
did they like
have
rewind a
talk.
couple minutes
Oh,
and
I don't. I think they started right where they left off.
oh man, that's what I would have done. But like, all right, we're
Uh,
gonna rewind by like two or 3 minutes, just to like give everyone context and back into the flow of the scene, and then bam, the ending.
My friend was stressed about it initially, but then after he found out why, he's like, "Okay, all right, that's a good story. That's worth it. I understand." Kids with a fog machine.
There you go. I think have I ever? Because I've only ever been to like 2 or 3 plays, and I think I on 2 separate occasions. I think I've seen Alfred Hitchcock's The 39 Steps twice. Like,
there's so many more plays out there.
yeah, like I kind of remember going with my mom to see one. Um, I don't remember why. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if like she knew someone or if it was just like a thing she was trying out or something, and I just happened to be like homesick that day, or it was a Hummer. Who knows? But it was the 39 Steps, and then when I was in college, I had a friend of mine who was in a production of that same play, and I didn't recognize it by the name. And then we
Mm-hmm.
went to go see it. I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this. I know, and I've seen the movie of this too. What? uh, so yeah, I've seen the 39 Steps, and I think that's it.
So if you've
Maybe something
seen it
else.
3 times, now you've seen 108 steps.
There you go. The 108 steps. But yeah, I guess we will wrap things up with that
Hmm.
there. Thank you guys for joining us on this much shorter episode of the Captain's Log. I guess not much shorter. We went for
Yeah.
what, like 50 something minutes ish.
Yeah.
So we did our thing for quite a while, but we are recording on a day we're not usually recording on. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why not? Let's just keep it short. But that was episode 44. Melissa, where can the good fine folk find you on the fabulous interwebs? There's no like F word for the internet.
Fantastic.
I mean, there's adjectives to describe it.
Oh, you mean there's not a synonym for internet that starts with
Right,
F?
right.
Nah. Nah.
Oh well.
Regardless, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And you can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on both Twitter and Instagram. If you would like to get updates for this podcast or any of our other shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com. I've been slowly kind of updating our logos and
Oh,
websites and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's a very, very soft rollout. Whenever I'm finding the time. So be on the lookout for all of that stuff if you haven't noticed them already. That being said, if you like this show or any of the other ones that we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us. New episodes of The Captain's Log come out every Monday, but you can usually get them early by supporting us on Patreon at the $1 level.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that is about it. You know what I forgot to do on the last episode that
What?
we're recording on a Sunday, and we are recording this a little bit after we recorded the review show. I forgot to mention our $5 Patreon
Mm-hmm.
sponsors. So big shout out.
Oh, yes, our good friends.
Yes, big shout out to Eric and Sam and Christine for supporting us on Patreon at the $5 level. You guys are very much appreciated. We love you guys a lot. You guys help keep the lights on, help pay for our hosting and all of that good stuff. If you guys also want to support us, on Patreon, you can do that once more. That is patreon.com/the Whatnauts. And that is it. Finally.
Yes.
No
now
more
we are done.
shilling ourselves to our corporate overlords or whatever they are. I don't know. We'll be back next week or something. We will see you next time. Adios, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Party peoples, thank you so much for watching that episode of The Captain's Log. If you liked that, go subscribe down here in the middle to our channel. Go watch our most recent upload and go watch whatever video YouTube wants you to watch over here on this side. Adios.